camera flickers to life. A faint beam of light pierces through darkness, catching the glimmer of limestone and dripping water. You can hear the quiet rasp of someone breathing hard through a mask. Then a voice, calm, steady, but tense, cuts through the echo. If you're watching this, it means we didn't make it out. Static. The footage shakes. A scream echoes from somewhere deep, distant, muffled, and the camera tumbles to the wet ground before the screen fades to black. 3WEKSERIR. The video begins again, this time with upbeat music and a clean transition, exploring the deep unknown. Europe's Forgotten Caves, Episode 7. That was the intro to Elias Voss's channel, The Uncharted Zone, a YouTube series that had gained millions of views for diving into abandoned places, ghost towns, and underground tunnels. He was known for his calm narration, cinematic shots, and fearless curiosity. But this one was never uploaded. It was found later, recovered from a damaged SD card sent anonymously to his editor. Elias was 28, an adventure vlogger from Germany. With him were Mara, his camera operator, quiet, skeptical, and loyal to a fault. Noah, the sound guy and cave mapping enthusiast. Julian, a guest geologist from a university in Prague, was invited to explain the formations. Their plan was simple: explore the Velinor Cavern system, a network of uncharted caves recently discovered after a landslide near the Carpathian Mountains. Locals called it the mouth of the dead earth. They arrived at a small village at the mountain's base. The air smelled of whetstone and pine resin. An old man at a roadside stall told them in broken English not to go near the mountain after sunset. His words stuck with Mara. The air down there, it remembers the ones who breathe it. Elias laughed it off. Perfect promo material, he said, loading the drone batteries. The first descent was uneventful, at least at first. The cave's entrance was a narrow slit in the hillside, barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through. The deeper they crawled, the colder it got. Water dripped rhythmically from the ceiling, like the ticking of a slow clock. The light from their headlamps bounced across strange carvings. Spiral patterns cut deep into the stone walls. Prehistoric markings. Julian murmured, running his gloved hand over the wall. Or just natural erosion, Elias replied. Either way, it looks incredible on camera. They continued deeper, setting up small reflectors to mark their path. Noah recorded ambient audio, the sound of wind moving through hollow chambers, the distant echo of shifting rocks. He noticed something unusual right away: no animal sounds. No bats. No insects. Just silence. It's too quiet? Noah muttered. Good. Elias joked. Less editing. But as the hours passed, Mara's discomfort grew. She kept glancing back, convinced she heard faint whispering behind them. The cave air pressed heavy on her chest, thick, humid, almost alive. At around 300 meters in, they reached the first chamber. The space opened wide, ceiling vanishing into darkness. Their flashlights revealed clusters of stalactites that looked almost like teeth. The mouth of the dead earth, Julian said quietly. Fitting name. They decided to rest and eat. While they unpacked their gear, the camera caught something, barely visible, moving in the shadows behind them. Just a flicker. A shifting silhouette. No one noticed it at the moment. They set up a small camp inside the chamber, lighting a few portable lamps. Elias recorded his nightly vlog update. So far, everything's going according to plan. Tomorrow, we'll explore the lower tunnel that locals say connects to an underground lake. There's no record of this system anywhere, which means if we map it, it'll be a world first. He smiled into the lens, confidence, unaware. Later that night, Mara woke up to a sound, a slow, steady breathing echoing through the cavern. She turned on her light. Everyone else was asleep. The sound stopped immediately. When she lay back down, she noticed something strange. Her flashlight, which had been hanging beside her, was now pointing directly at her face. She told Elias in the morning. He shrugged it off as nerves. They followed a narrow tunnel leading downward. It twisted like intestines, barely large enough to crawl through. Claustrophobic and slick with condensation, it forced them onto their bellies. Noah's mic picked up something faint, A sound that resembled murmuring voices carried through the stone. Wind resonance. Julian explained quickly, though he looked pale. They reached the bottom after an hour. What they found didn't make sense. A smooth corridor, perfectly symmetrical, ran through the rock. It looked carved, not natural. On the walls were those same spiral carvings, but now intertwined with crude humanoid shapes, dozens of them, all depicted with wide, hollow eyes. This wasn't made by water, Julian said, voice trembling. Or by people, Mara whispered. The tunnel led to another chamber, this one dry and filled with piles of bones. Not animal bones, humans. Noah tried to count them before Elias stopped him. We document, we don't disturb, Elias said firmly, though his voice cracked. They set up a camera to record continuously, leaving it aimed at the chamber while they explored a side tunnel. When they returned 2 hours later, the camera was still recording, but the bones had been rearranged into a spiral. That night, no one slept. Elias tried to stay rational, explaining it away as a prank by earlier explorers or a collapse. But there were no signs of footprints other than their own. The air tasted metallic now, heavy. Mara swore she heard whispering again, clearer this time. Words, in a language she didn't recognize. Elias, she whispered. Something's down here with us. He ignored her. But the footage shows him glancing into the darkness long after she fell silent. By now, tension was rising. They argued about turning back, but Elias refused. We're this close to the underground lake. One more day. They crawled deeper through a passage filled with crystal formations that glowed faintly under light. It was beautiful, surreal. And then they heard it, a faint splash. Then another. They entered a vast cavern where a still, black lake stretched into endless darkness. The surface reflected their lights like glass. On the far side, they saw shapes, tall, pale columns standing motionless. At first, they thought they were stalagmites, but when Mara zoomed in with the camera, they had faces. Are those? Don't say it, Elias interrupted. The columns were humanoid figures, dozens of them, encased in some translucent mineral. Frozen mid-scream, their mouths wide open. Noah recorded everything, shaking uncontrollably. This is impossible. It's like they were crystallized alive. They backed away, but a low rumble shook the cavern. Ripples moved across the lake. Something below was shifting. And then a voice, faint, distorted, echoed across the water. Go back. The sound came not from the lake, but from their radio. Julian's face went white. We turned them off hours ago. That's when the light from Noah's headlamp caught movement beneath the water. A pale arm. Then another. Then many. Something massive was climbing up from the depths. They ran, crawling, stumbling, gasping for air as the ground trembled behind them. Mara dropped the main camera. Footage cuts abruptly to static. Only Elias's bodycam kept recording. They made it back to the first chamber, panting, shaking. Julian was missing. The footage shows Elias shouting his name into the tunnels, but the only reply was the echo of his own voice. That night they heard Julian screaming from deep below. Then silence. Mara begged Elias to leave. He finally agreed. But when they tried to find the exit, the reflectors they'd placed earlier were gone. No broke down crying. We're trapped. It doesn't want us to leave. The last line of part 1 fades to Elias whispering to the camera. The cave moves when you're not looking. The cave moves when you're not looking. Those were the last words on Elias's night log before the footage cut to static. When the image flickers back, the timestamp reads 03:42 a.m. The group looks exhausted, eyes red, hands trembling, their breathing shallow. Their lamps are dimming one by one. The walls seem to pulse faintly, wet with condensation that glistens like sweat on skin. The cave is alive. They all feel it now. They wake to find the chamber smaller than before. The walls have moved closer. The entrance tunnel, the one they came through, is gone. That's impossible, Elias mutters. Rocks don't move overnight. Julian is gone. They've accepted that. His scream from the depths still lingers in their minds. But now even the path they had marked to escape has vanished, sealed by solid stone. Mara shines her light at the wall where their reflector tape had been. It's now smooth, almost polished. Only faint spirals remain, newly carved, dripping moisture. Fresh. It's rewriting itself, she whispers. Noah starts filming again, more out of instinct than reason. His footage shakes uncontrollably, the beam darting from wall to wall. He mutters something about oxygen deprivation, hallucinations, carbon dioxide buildup. But then he stops mid-sentence, eyes fixed ahead. Someone is standing at the far end of the chamber. A silhouette, faintly human, motionless. Julian? Elias calls out. No answer. The figure tilts its head slightly, the sound of cracking bone echoing through the silence. The light flickers, and it's gone. They move forward into a tunnel none of them remember. It's wider, smoother, almost carved by human hands. The deeper they go, the louder the whispers become. Not voices exactly, more like vibrations in the skull, words that seem to form inside their thoughts rather than through their ears. You shouldn't have come, wow. We were part of the stone. One never left. Noah begins to panic. He rips off his headset and starts clawing at his ears, screaming that something's inside them. Blood seeps from his nose. Mara tries to calm him down, but the cave floor trembles beneath them. A deep, throbbing vibration, almost like a heartbeat, reverberates through the rock. They reach another chamber, this one circular and perfectly symmetrical. At its center lies a hole, a vertical shaft descending into blackness. Around it, the same spiral carvings circle outward, etched so deeply the grooves glisten like open wounds. This is constructed, Julian had said earlier when describing the cave structure. Now Elias mutters it again. Someone built this place. The hole seems to breathe. A slow inhale. A long exhale. Air pulls them closer with every cycle. We're losing track of time. My watch shows noon, but we haven't seen daylight in days. Elias refuses to admit we're lost. He says the footage will make history, that we'll find a way out once we've mapped the lower chamber. But the cave feels wrong. It hums when we stop moving, like it's listening. Noah sleeps with the lights on now. He talks in his sleep, whispers back at the walls. I caught him repeating something. They're still here. I think the cave remembers us. Against all logic, Elias decides to lower himself into the vertical shaft. If it connects to another chamber, he argues, it might lead to an exit. The air currents are moving downwards. That means it connects somewhere. They fashion a rope system from their climbing gear. Mara protests, but she helps anyway. She records as Elias disappears into the dark, his headlamp shrinking to a pin of light. Still descending, he reports through the radio. Walls are smooth. Looks like carved limestone. Wait, there's something. The radio hisses. Static floods the line. Then his voice returns, distorted. It's not a tunnel. It's full. The rest is unintelligible. A loud snap echoes from below, followed by a thud.
Elias!
Mara screams into the darkness. No reply. No insists they pull him back up. When they do, the rope comes up slack, frayed. The end looks like it's been chewed. For hours they debate what to do. Then, around what feels like evening, Elias's radio crackles again. Don't come down here. It's not stone, it's skin. Then a scream, abruptly cut off. The cave trembles violently, dust raining from the ceiling. The whispers return, louder now, in every direction. The words blend together, forming a chorus of agony. We are beneath the breath. We remember the light. Join us. Noah breaks. He grabs a flare and hurls it into the shaft. For a brief moment, the walls illuminate. Not rock, but something else. Pale, fleshy, veined. The spiral markings twitch, pulsing faintly, as if reacting to the heat. Then the flare is gone, swallowed by darkness that seems to move. Hours blur together. Mara's camera records long stretches of silence. Her face blank, eyes unfocused. Noah is heard whispering to someone who isn't there. Julian says we can go back. We just need to follow the markings. But Julian's dead. They all know it. When Mara turns the camera toward him, Noah's pupils are fully dilated, his mouth twitching. He smiles faintly and points toward the wall. "They're not carvings," he whispers. "They're veins." The footage shakes violently as he starts clawing at the stone, tearing at the grooves with bare fingers. The wall bleeds. Thick black liquid oozes from the spiral patterns. The whispers rise into screams. Mara drags him away, sobbing. But the damage is done. The walls begin to pulsate faster, the heartbeat growing frantic. The cave is awake. Mara finds another tunnel, one that slopes upward. She convinces Noah to follow her. As they crawl, the passage begins to look familiar. The same markings, the same cracks in the rock. Relief floods her face. "We found it. This is the chamber where we started." But when they emerge, it's not the same place. The chamber is reversed, as if mirrored. Their equipment lies scattered, but every logo, every letter, is backward. Even the reflection in their camera lens shows them flipped. The physics of the cave itself no longer makes sense. Noah starts laughing hysterically. "It's showing us a way out. We just have to go deeper." He grabs a light and runs into a side passage before she can stop him. His laughter echoes, then cuts off with a choked scream. Mara chases him, calling his name. But what she finds isn't human. Noah's body is hanging from the ceiling, fused into the rock. His eyes are open, mouth frozen mid-laugh. His chest moves faintly, as if breathing in rhythm with the cave. She backs away slowly. The camera captures the movement of the stone behind him. Subtle, like lungs expanding. The cave is breathing through him. Mara collapses in exhaustion, whispering to herself, repeating prayers. The video shows her resting in the mirrored chamber, light flickering weakly. Then a voice, soft, broken, echoes through the dark. "Mara!" She jolts awake. It's Elias. He steps into the light, covered in black sludge, his face pale, eyes glassy. He's holding the rope that had snapped earlier. But when she looks closer, it's not rope, it's hair. Human hair. "Elias, what happened down there?" He smiles faintly. "I saw them. They've been here forever." "Ooh." The ones who became the cave. Mara's breathing quickens. "We're leaving. Now." "There's no leaving," Elias says calmly. "It's already inside us." He lifts his shirt. The skin on his abdomen bulges, veins twitching beneath it. Something moves just under his flesh. "They said we could stay. Be part of it?" Mara screams and runs. Elias doesn't chase her. He just watches, expressionless, whispering something under his breath. The stone remembers. Mara runs blindly, tripping, scraping her knees on sharp rock. Her camera dangles wildly, showing flashes of spirals and flickering shadows. The whispers follow, hundreds of overlapping voices calling her name. At last, she spots light ahead, a faint glimmer that looks like daylight. She sprints toward it, falls to her knees, laughs hysterically. It's not the exit. It's the reflection of her own light, mirrored perfectly on a wall of translucent stone. Behind the reflection, faintly visible, she sees the outlines of 3 figures trapped inside. Elias. No, Julian. Their faces frozen in silent screams, eyes moving slowly as if aware. The last thing her camera captures is her hand pressing against the stone, and the stone pressing back. Then the feed cuts to black. The footage that survived from this part was fragmented, corrupted by moisture and electromagnetic interference. The timestamps no longer made sense. Some read 480923, others 100, looping endlessly. Yet between the static and blackouts, moments remained. Moments that told the story of what happened after Mara realized the cave was not just a structure, but something alive. Mara's breathing is ragged. The camera's audio is distorted, filled with low rumbling, like someone exhaling into the microphone from far away. She's shaking. The image flickers between her pale, dirt-streaked face and the endless stone tunnel ahead. "If anyone finds this, don't come here." The cave eats memories. Her voice breaks. She glances down a side tunnel, where faint light pulses like a heartbeat. The air vibrates. Something moves ahead, not walking but flowing like a liquid shadow. Mara whispers, "Elias." A whisper answers her back, perfectly imitating her own voice. "Elias." She freezes. The cave repeats her again. "Elias, Elias, until her own name becomes meaningless. She claps her hands over her ears and runs. The camera next flicks on inside a massive dome, far larger than any chamber before. The walls are covered in what appear to be fossilized corpses, melted into the stone. Arms, faces, rib cages, all fused in twisting agony. Their eyes are open. Some of them move. The lens zooms shakily over a section where a man's face pushes out from the rock, mouth opening silently, lips cracking to reveal stone dust and blood. Then it recedes again, back into the wall like a wave pulling back into the ocean. Mara sobs quietly behind the camera. "They're alive," she whispers. "It keeps them alive." On the ground are remnants of climbing gear, boots, gloves, ropes, all half absorbed into the floor, coated in mineral deposits. She recognizes one of the helmets, Elias's. Something drips from above, thick, viscous fluid. It lands on her shoulder and burns through her jacket. She screams and wipes it off. The skin beneath is raw, red, blistering. When she points the camera upward, the ceiling pulses, translucent. Shapes press against it, humanoid outlines suspended just above her. One opens its eyes. In her delirium, Mara begins to talk to the camera as if it's a person. "It's not a cave. It's something older. I think it grew around people. Around everything. It remembers what it eats." She finds a set of symbols etched into a pillar. More spirals, but these have lines branching outward like veins or roots. She traces one with her finger and hears a faint hum, like a heartbeat sensing with her pulse. The pillar breathes when she touches it. The stone softens, and beneath it she sees movement, like organs shifting inside a body. Suddenly, the pillar splits open vertically, revealing a narrow slit filled with fleshy tissue. From inside, a faint whisper, "Come see." Against all reason, she raises her light and peers inside. The interior is wet organic, walls of pink and gray tissue lined with what look like teeth. Beyond that, something glows faintly, blue, pulsating. She leans closer. A hand shoots out, grabbing her wrist. It's human, or used to be. Its skin is pale, stretched, and veins black. The fingers twitch as if remembering how to move. Mara screams, wrenching free, leaving behind a chunk of flesh where its nails dug in. "It's learning from us," she gasps to the camera. "It's trying to be human." The next few minutes of footage are silent except for dripping water. Mara walks deeper into the pulsating corridors, mumbling incoherently. The camera shakes. The air itself seems to shimmer. Eventually, she comes to a narrow opening where low chanting echoes. Human voices, dozens of them, murmuring in rhythmic unison. "We are the stone that breathes, the dust that remembers." She peers inside. The chamber beyond is lit by a faint bioluminescent glow. Hundreds of human figures stand in a circle, their bodies fused to the walls, chests rising and falling in unison. Their faces are serene, eyes rolled back, mouths open as they whisper together. At the center of the circle stands Elias. His body is half, covered in the same black, stone-like growth seen before. His hands are raised, eyes glowing faintly blue. "Mara," he says, voice calm and echoing unnaturally. "You shouldn't fight it. It's not death. It's a memory." "Elias, what did you do?" He smiles. "I stopped running." He steps closer. The walls pulse around him, reacting to his movements. The cave doesn't destroy. It preserves. Every thought, every breath, every scream, it keeps them. Forever. You can be part of it too. "No," she whispers. "I'm getting out." "There is no out," he says gently. "There never was. We were inside it before we entered." The chanting grows louder. The walls throb like a heartbeat. Mara backs away, but the floor softens under her boots, flesh giving way to liquid. Hands reach up from below, thousands of them, grasping, pulling, clawing at her legs. She screams and fires her flare gun into the air. The flash blinds the camera, revealing for a split second the impossible scale of the chamber, not a cavern, but a lung. They are inside a massive biological structure, a living organism spanning miles beneath the earth. The light fades. The whispers resume. Mara flees through collapsing tunnels, coughing from smoke and dust. She stumbles into a narrow passage that vibrates violently, the air pressure dropping as if something massive is inhaling. She presses against a wall, and it gives way, revealing a hollow vein filled with clear fluid. Inside the fluid floats memories, flickering images like holograms, people laughing, crying, running. Faces from different eras, frozen in time. The camera records flashes an explorer in 1912, screaming as the stone engulfs him. A woman in medieval clothing praying as light fades. Children playing, faces twisted in slow horror as they sink into the walls. Mara realizes the truth. The cave doesn't just consume bodies, it consumes moments. It's a brain, she whispers. The mountain is a brain. The realization breaks her. She laughs through her tears, pressing her hand against the wall, whispering to it. You remember everything, don't you? The wall pulses softly, almost affectionately. For a moment, she feels warmth, safety, until a voice inside her head replies, yes. And now you? The final minutes of Part 3 are chaotic. The footage distorts as the walls begin collapsing inward, pulsing violently. The chanting turns to screams. Elias is seen briefly kneeling in the collapsing chamber, his body now almost entirely stone. He smiles at the camera one last time. Don't hate it, Mara. It's only doing what it was made to do. Then the floor gives way. He vanishes into the darkness. Mara crawls upward through a vent-like tunnel, jagged rock cutting into her arms. The sound of rushing air fills the microphone, like the exhale of a dying giant. When she bursts into an upper chamber, light flickers ahead, faint daylight seeping through cracks in the ceiling. She collapses, laughing hysterically. The camera falls beside her, showing her shaking hands, reaching toward the light. Then, slowly, the stone beneath her begins to ripple. Her laughter stops. She looks down. Her palm has fused to the floor. No, please. The stone crawls up her arm, spreading fast like molten wax. Her skin bubbles, turns gray. She screams, thrashing, clawing, but every movement only spreads it faster. Her final words are quiet, almost a whisper. Please don't let it remember me. The light goes out. Static. 3 weeks after the Velinor expedition disappeared, a local mountain rescue team was sent to investigate reports of missing explorers. They found the group's van abandoned near the tree line. Lights still on, batteries drained. Inside were neatly packed supplies, a satellite phone with no outgoing calls, and a laptop still recording from a connected GoPro feed. The footage ended abruptly with the words, "If you're watching this, it means we didn't make it out." The rescue team consisted of 5 men, led by Captain Luca Arendt, a veteran spelunker who had mapped dozens of cave systems across Eastern Europe. He didn't believe in curses, but he knew fear, and this mountain felt wrong. When they reached the cave entrance, they noticed something strange. The rock had changed. Where the explorers' reports described a jagged slit in the hillside, the team found a perfect circular opening. Smooth, like it had been carved by machinery. The temperature near the entrance was abnormally warm, the air damp and heavy. "It's breathing," one of the rescuers muttered. "That's just air pressure," Luca replied, though his tone was uncertain. They descended slowly, marking their route every few meters. Within the first hour, their radios began to crackle with interference. The deeper they went, the warmer it became, not the chill of stone, but a living heat that made their skin damp. At 300 meters, they found the first camera, Mara's. The lens was cracked, but the SD card was intact. Luca pocketed it, unaware of what it contained. The deeper they went, the more they noticed the same spiral markings. But now, faint light pulsed inside them, as though something beneath the surface was glowing. "It's like veins," one rescuer whispered. "No talking," Luca ordered. "We get the bodies and leave." At 500 meters they found a chamber. Bones were scattered everywhere. Hundreds, maybe thousands. But the formations of the bones matched human silhouettes, as if the stone had shaped itself around them. Then one of the rescuers screamed. A body was hanging from the ceiling, half absorbed into the rock. It was Noah. The stone had grown through his limbs, merging him with the cavern itself. His face was intact, eyes open, mouth twisted in mid-laugh. When Luca shined his light on the wall behind him, he saw other faces, frozen mid-scream. They decided to turn back. But before they could leave, one rescuer, Thomas, noticed a small handheld camcorder lying on a ledge. He turned it on. It played automatically, static, then a voice. "Please, don't let it remember me." Mara's final words echoed through the chamber. The sound alone made the walls tremble. The light from their headlamps flickered. A low rumble filled the air, followed by a faint whisper. "You shouldn't have come." The rescuers panicked. One ran for the exit, but the passage he came through had collapsed, sealed by solid rock. Luca turned to the wall and saw fresh spirals forming, wet and black. The patterns pulsed slowly, syncing with their heartbeats. "Get the ropes!" he shouted. "Move!" But as they began to climb, Thomas screamed. His harness melted. The rope fused into the wall. He clawed at it, but the rock swallowed his hands, then his arms. The others pulled, but his body turned rigid, his flesh hardening, skin cracking into stone. His last words were barely audible. "It's remembering me." They left him behind. The remaining footage from the rescue mission, later leaked anonymously, showed Luca and one surviving member, Andrzej, stumbling out of the cave entrance at dawn. Both were covered in dust and blood. Andrzej's eyes were wide, his voice hollow. "We got out," he whispered, "but it's not done with us." The footage ends with Luca loading Mara's camera into his bag, muttering, "Someone has to see this." 2 weeks later, a video titled, "This Video Will Make You Hate Calves," appeared briefly on the Uncharted Zone's abandoned YouTube channel.